Okay, so we're gonna drill, first of all, what we were doing on Monday, because we're gonna kind of follow on from what we were doing on Monday. We were doing the counter to the single leg takedown. So my partner does a single leg takedown, gets this leg picked up here. So the counter that we did was the stuff of the head, getting our belly over the top and looking for the Kimura on the far side. And then we take the little hop forwards and then we sit down and sumi gaeshi my partner down into this Kimura Trap position. Right, so this is the position that we've fallen down to. On Monday, when you came in, we looked at again when our partner turns in. So he's not or shouldn't be able to turn away from us. If he does turn away from us, then he's literally locking himself into the Kimura. So not particularly smart move from him. If he stays where he is, we need to look at other options. So we're going to look at 3 Kimuras first. So proper value for money this evening. So we keep the Kimura in. First one is if we start to move ourselves out and he doesn't have any type of grip or control and we're able to rip his arm to the floor. So from here, I notice there's no grip. I'm going to look to take this elbow to the floor and turn myself in. I'm going to isolate his shoulder by moving and putting my hip through that shoulder, push his hand to the floor, and then raise up for the finish. Super, super tight and painful Kimura. If I notice that he does have some sort of grip, then I'm going to kick myself up and I'm going to pull my partner up onto the side. For the north-south Kimura, ideally we want to lock in this arm, because if he's got his other arm to come in and try to control and try to block, then it's always going to make it more difficult. So as I sit on his head, I'm going to try to use my leg as a staple onto his arm. So I take away the arm from being able to defend. I lock up my Kimura. If I can immediately rip that off, I'm going to put the elbow into my chest, turn behind for the finish. If he's keeping hold of his belt, one way that I like to deal with this is, there's other options. We can transition to other submissions, but to actually finish the Kimura is I like to pull this tight, then relax and pull it away from the belt. If you keep trying to pull up the belt, it's going to be really, really difficult. We're going to try to pull up. As we let go and he just loosens his grip a little bit, we're going to rip it away from the belt. Elbow comes into the chest, turn it in behind. Now, if I kind of start to pull this away and I get that loose and he starts to try and turn his back to the floor and I'm starting to lose it, I'm going to try to punch his hand to the floor, rotate my hips down to his hip, step over the top of his head, and then turn in behind for the Kimura. So 3 Kimura options that we have just straight off the bat. So we've done our counter. We got down to this Kimura Trap position. Number 1 option, I notice there's no grip. So I'm going to rip the arm to the floor, put my elbow by the ribs, come to my belly. Hip weight goes through the shoulder, hand to the floor, raise to finish. If I notice there is some sort of grip, we're going to kick up, come to the north-south. If we can staple the arm, that's always going to be better. We pull, release, pull away, elbow to your chest, pull in behind. If I'm having trouble or he starts to try to push himself back to his back, then I'm going to back step off, rip his hand to the floor, hips go through his hips, leg steps over the head, so I'm able to rock and pull his body off the floor. Turn behind for the Kimura. So let's look at the flat where we put the pressure through the shoulder and lift. Let's look at the north-south Kimura, and then when we step off into side control, leg over the head, and finish the Kimura behind the back. 3 for the price of 1. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it. All right, so starting from the same position again. We're going to do the same thing all day today. We're going to do the same thing. So we're moving ourselves away. We're going to kick, and we're going to sit up, turn our partner onto their side. So let's look at another couple of submissions that we got from here. We have the armbar available to us. So we can stuff the weight through our partner, pop up to our toes, drop down, and we have the armbar finish. Or if we're excuse me, worried about the hitchhiker, again, what we can do is step the leg over, hook, come down, hook the leg, and we can finish the armbar this way. So armbar is number one. Number two, one of my favorite ones to do from here is the scissor choke or nutcracker, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to lock our leg in underneath the chin. So this is kind of like a little bit of feel. We're just going to feel for the chin and try to get the knee underneath. The second knee is going to go directly behind the neck. So we feel, find the chin, knee comes in behind, we drop down to the side. I'm going to keep the Kimura as like get out of jail free card. If this doesn't work, then I can always bring myself back up. Cross the legs, we're going to straighten the legs, squeeze the knees together until we get the choke. Like, you don't need me to tell you that that's quite a dangerous choke. We're literally on the Adam's apple, like crushing it together. So be super, super careful. Knee on the front, knee on the back, kick the leg straight and crush for the finish. Third one. So one of my favorite things to do from here is start looking for other stuff that first of all involves pinning this arm into the body. So I'm going to take the tail of the gi out, or you can use the belt as well. And we're going to pull that over the top of the front Kimura arm. So now I have that locked in nice and tight. It leaves this arm free to do other jobs. So the first thing we're going to do with this is we're going to look for bread cutter, paper cutter, whatever you want to call this one. We're going to just open the knee enough so that I feed down, and I'm going to put my thumb inside the gi. Once I've found that good grip, I'm going to step off to the back. Don't take your partner completely flat. If we go completely flat, then it's not going to be tight across the neck anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this high and I'm going to drop this down low. So keep this arm high, drop this down low. My elbow goes to the floor, we sprawl. If it's not quite on tight enough, I'm going to take my elbow up to the top of the head. But again, got this get out of jail free card. If that's not working, not happening, I've got this controlled. I'll come back in, I can switch straight back to this. Feed over the top, lock in. Just open the knee enough so we can feed the thumb in, get a good grip, maybe catch him by surprise. Step off to the back, and then we're going to start to sprawl down. You see how I'm keeping this high? Don't let it all go flat. Keep this high, sprawl. If it hasn't quite come on, raise the elbow up to the top to finish. So number one submission, pop up. Let's try the armbar. Number two submission, lean forwards, find the neck, squeeze for the scissor. Number three, tail over the top, lock in, step off. Notice my thumb is inside, not my four fingers, so we get the blade across the neck. Sprawl down, paper cutter choke across the neck. Next three submission options. 1, 2, 3. Next one that we're going to do. This is one of my favorite ones to do. So move out, going to sit myself up. We're going to get ourselves up into this north-south Kimura position. So I like to, again, take the tail and wrap in the arm so it's super tight, so it allows this arm to be a little freer. Now we talked about earlier stapling this arm to the floor. What we're going to do this time is we're going to push down and we're going to step over the top of the arm. So just put your foot into the armpit. We're going to reach, grab hold of the sleeve, and we're going to start to take the arm off the floor, and we're going to put our calf underneath their tricep. So we're going to try to make that as tight as we possibly can. Again, like the scissor choke, I'm going to lean forwards. I'm going to adjust this back knee so it goes behind the neck, and then I'm going to fall down to the side. You see I've still got this grip here, so we've still got that arm controlled in case we need to go back to it later. Key to this is to get it as tight as possible. So I'm going to pull on the arm at the same time as I kick the leg. Get that really tight, and we take this high one, we lock it behind the knee, and we get this nice side triangle position. Now in my experience, maybe because I've got slightly longer legs, or maybe I'm just not doing it right. In my experience, this is quite a difficult triangle to finish. Hold the tricep, we're going to pull in and we're going to squeeze. Not as good as the normal triangle, as far as I'm concerned. But we have this arm just floating around in the wind, waiting to be finished. So we're gonna grip hold of the wrist, make sure we stay tight on the shoulder so it's isolated, and then we're going to just basically push this down our own leg. So hold, push down our own leg. Hold the knuckles. We also have a nice little wrist lock available. So we've got the triangle, we've got the Kimura, and we've got the wrist lock. So we've pulled ourselves up into the north-south, pulled this round, got it tight. We're looking to step over and put your heel nice and tight into the armpit. Grab the arm, pull it off the floor, put your calf underneath the tricep. Knee goes back behind the neck. So you see how I lean, drop, pull tight. Top leg goes behind the bottom leg, and we squeeze, hold the tricep, and see if we can finish the triangle. We're going to go to the wrist. First one. Now this is key that I've got hold of this arm correctly, because if he can just reach up and grab, now we've kind of lost the ability to be able to finish that. So lock it in. Control the wrist, just pass it down your leg. Hold the knuckles, and wrist lock available. So let's see if we can go for the entry for that side triangle position. Extra options of Kimura and wrist lock available. Then we've got one more quick one to do in a second. 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's just say that we're already in this north-south Kimura position, and my partner's defending, and I'm finding it difficult. I can't get my knee in to try and trap the arm. So another option for us is the tarikoplata onto this arm. So we're going to take this hand off to leave a little bit of space on their wrist, and we're going to take this leg and we're going to bring it over and across to the far side. So we're basically just going to cover their wrist. Now the arm that's already through, we're going to reach as deep as we can, and we're going to hold our own leg. Facing your right hand to the floor, you're going to bring your right leg round towards the head. And then basically, I'm just going to start to turn towards my partner's head to finish. So it's still like that Kimura type finish, but we've just isolated and locked that shoulder in place by making sure his wrist can't move anywhere. Hold onto your own leg, base off the floor, and then rotate like you're trying to look at your partner's head. So again, one more time. We're here. He's defending, so we're going to take our leg, free the space up, step to the back. Lock in on your own leg, so go as deep as you can. Grab hold of your quad. Hand is going to base to the floor. This right foot at the back, take it off the floor. And then we're going to just start to turn through. Turn through for the finish. Everyone get that? I want to see that one more time. More? Okay, so again, partner defends. The hand that's on the wrist is going to come off. And obviously we're not slow about this. It's a nice quick transfer. So as soon as this comes off, we step through to the back. Lock through onto your quad, base the hand. All my weight is through my partner. Take this foot off the floor and start to turn towards the head for the finish. Tarikoplata, last one. 1, 2, 3, let's go.